Yes, fuck me. Mini tongue.
This is the Dude Loft Mountain podcast with your hosts, Gabe, Tanner, and Tommy.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Dude Loft Mountain. I'm your host, Gabe, joined with Tanner.
Howdy.
And Tommy.
I don't have anything witty to say, so hi.
Episode 22?
Three.
Did everyone just breathe a sigh of relief?
Everyone who had placed your bets previously, hit us up on Twitter. We'll get the stashes
It
out.
only took a little less than half a year.
What the fuck you want from me, you know?
On a brighter note, the best thing happened to Tanner in his entire life. Mm-hmm. What happened, Tanner?
Donda.
Donda. Donda. Donda.
Donda.
Donda.
Donda.
Donda. Donda. Donda.
Donda.
Donda. Ooba. Ooba.
Donda came out.
Donda.
Boys,
So,
it's so fucking good. Do you guys remember
It is.
when...
Donda's made me a Kanye fan again.
Well, you remember like years ago when we first met, for the longest time, the background like screen on my phone was Kanye with
holding
his
up
arms
the
up,
arms, yeah.
yep.
so he could hold up my notifications.
Wait, it's still not that?
No, but it was for years. I changed it.
Oh,
recently.
who was the first one to receive the treatment of the removal of God?
It's just this right now because
It's not even your girlfriend?
No, I made everything black and white because it's very aesthetic.
Kanye went down for aesthetics.
Well, because I mean,
Kanye
knows I love him, but
he
it was the whole iOS
constantly
thing came out when you could like be super
yeah,
customizable,
yeah.
you know?
Use Widget Smith and all that shit.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. I sat there for a long time making each section like a different Halloween theme because that's when it came out. And I did it once. It was great. And I was like, I'm not doing this for every season.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fucking work.
But anyways,
Oh, yeah.
you've known I was a Kanye fan for a really long time and
Donda.
judged me for it.
Yes.
Constantly.
Hard.
Constantly.
Yes, yes, let's do it. I'll do it publicly right here. I was wrong, Tanner. There's a little bit of genius in there because that's a damn good album.
It's a good album.
Like, I don't even know what people's problem with it is, honestly, because when I listen to the songs, I'm like, I don't understand where people wouldn't at least find one good thing about this song to enjoy. Mm-hmm. Like, because there's just a lot of different moving parts and a lot of different sounding instruments and stuff in it. Like, it's something I would show to my friends because they might latch onto it, and they pretty much, I think Tanner's the only one that really likes hip hop. Well, you obviously, but
Old.
yeah, well, yeah, it's just like Tanner's who I go to for my like up to date new hip hop like underground stuff that he finds. But yeah, so like all my friends, like that's something I'll probably show them at some point or play while they're in the car and just see if they dig it.
Yeah, it's really good. And yeah, I also have to say, I was wrong. He is still very talented,
Oh, it feels
very
good.
surprising
So good.
because he's
The depression
just
looks
such
good
a
on him.
fucking
Yeah.
jackass.
I mean, it might be my favorite album of Kanye's. It might be.
I mean, I told
It's
Tanner
really good.
I told Tanner one of the interesting parts about it was we listened to it on Tanner's sound system he's got set up in there. That's fucking insane. It's like you're at a live show, and we were listening to it at like top notch and just jamming to it. And I remember like once the songs started coming on, and none of them were bad. Like none of them were like too offensive, like to change or anything like that. I was like, oh, okay. And then it's fucking 27 songs, and I've been saying what 24, 27 songs.
Yeah,
24
I'll
of them are
three of
bangers.
them, and one of them is the Donda intro,
yeah, and then Television.
and television, and then what's the one that never drops? It's just like the piano.
That's Television.
oh, that's television.
Yeah, not Television, but Tel-A-Vision. Oh, I get it. Television.
Television.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's the one with the piano where it's like boom, no,
Yeah, and
no,
it's
no,
like
no.
it's like a minute and a half long and never
Yeah.
drops.
Yeah, that
the other
one.
one?
Because remember what I said when that came on, and like it played for the first 20 seconds. I was like, I can't wait to hear the fucking drop in this song.
I know. And then when you said that, I looked at my phone and saw that there's like 30 seconds.
Yeah,
left of this
it's like a
song.
2-minute
I was
song.
like,
I was
I
like-
don't think it's coming.
Tragic.
You know what's very surprising is
You're gay?
I loved it so much,
Nice.
and the world hates it. Just keep shitting on it. From what everyone's saying, it's just like that's just not doing great.
Yeah.
But it's breaking
I mean,
a bunch of records.
They can talk shit within the same day though. It was the #1 album in 95 countries.
Exactly. So it's really good.
And it like dropped on a Sunday. Like, you know how much shit happens on a Sunday? Like, yeah. Yeah, because we were just hanging out and it was like it was kind of like midday for us. It was like, oh shit, Donda's out.
Yeah. It stopped our that was a weird thing too, was sitting there is like having the realization that there's other people around the world doing this exact same shit right now. And it's just it's like whenever you're watching the Super Bowl and it feels so big because everyone in the country's watching a TV at that point. They're all watching the same game and everything. It just felt weird, but it felt like I was listening to the album of the year. I was like, this is nuts. This feels like a big album for this year.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
because for a whole, what is it, 90 minutes long? No, it's an hour and 40 minutes long.
hour 40, 47 around there. Yeah.
So for that length of time, there was a lot of overlap where everyone was like, stop what you're doing, listen to this album.
Yeah.
And that's a cool feeling.
And it's what's weird about it too, and I mean, it's weird for me. I wouldn't say it's necessarily weird for people like Tanner, who have been listening to him a bunch and have been through the change. Because I never listened to Jesus is King, but it's a fucking Christian album. Like it's every song mentions God. There might be 2 or 3 that are just kind of songs.
There's a couple
most
of
mention
songs
God.
where it sounds like vulgarity is purposefully edited out.
Oh, it 100% is.
So
yeah.
like people are kind of guessing that like maybe this isn't like the like the unedited version of the album, you know? And then there's also the rumors floating around that whoever is the publicist of the album dropped it without Kanye's approval ahead of time. So
I don't believe that shit.
well, Kanye put out a statement like he said it.
Yeah, but it's
So,
just
I don't
that that seems like a monumental fuck up.
Yeah.
And it's weird to me that it would drop on a Sunday because what's the first thing everyone said? What's the first thing I said to you whenever you went, oh, did Donda drop? And I went, Kanye would drop it on a Sunday.
I mean, it makes sense. Yeah.
So it feels weird to me because it feels like if a publicist was going to do that, like without approval, that means he's trying to do his job to a fault. Why would you not do it on a Friday night? Why would you not do it on New Music Friday?
Yeah. I mean, not that it mattered though. It's like the #1 album right now.
Yeah, but that's my point. Is I'm like Kanye. He may have made a great album, but he still knows how to get people talking, and get attention on him, and stuff like that. It just feels weird to me. That feels like such a monumental fuck up.
Well, it may not even be a fuck up because I mean, after the first listening event, everyone expected it to drop after the listening event was over. Then he did the whole like iTunes or Apple Music live stream. It didn't drop then. He did the second listening event. It didn't drop then. He did the third. It didn't drop then.
Yeah.
And then like he kept saying like it's coming, and then it never dropped. And then now there's this. He's saying that there's drama surrounding, the album being dropped. If it's all a ploy, the man's a fucking genius to get people to talk about.
Well, no, he is. Look at who he was married to. I mean, that's what she does.
Yeah,
she gets people talking about her.
She's the first princess of the queen who does that shit.
And whether you like Kanye or not, he made a good album. He's made good music in the past. I loved all of his older stuff, but he's still going to take on traits of people around him, stuff like that. Like there's that whole surround yourself thing is a thing for a reason. So
I wonder. So I wonder if he's just in a shit ton of debt, and he's just like, okay, if I do 6 events before I drop the album, I should make enough money to pay off.
Well, he said a couple years ago that he was in a lot of debt, but I haven't heard anything about it recently. I thought he got out of it.
Yeah, I
remember the number being 32 million.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think that was the number.
But
that was a couple years ago.
It's kind of not. Yeah, that was back in like when I was in high school, I think.
Yeah.
So
but honestly, for him, I feel like that's not that much.
I don't remember why he had that much debt. I think Kim probably bailed him out.
Oh, probably.
Because I haven't heard anything about that since. Like, there was like a 1 month span where Kanye was just like almost homeless. Kind of.
She was like, "You give me more, baby, I pay your debt." Just like that.
She's not Russian.
Yeah, I'm like,
you'll give me baby.
Are you saying at some point in the night the Kim suit comes off and it's just like,
oh yeah,
yeah.
She unzips, takes her wigs off, takes her eyebrows, eyelashes. Yeah, it's all
That's
detachable.
why her ass looks so fake.
She's
it's
like
all those
Mrs.
communication
Potato
gear.
Well, it looks fake because it is fake, Tommy.
Like Mrs.
True.
Potato Head. That's exactly what she is. You just
Does
put
Mrs.
it all
Potato
on.
Head got cheeks?
I don't think so.
No.
Have you ever seen a potato?
How are they? made?
They are all caked up.
What?
I don't know. He just kind of started Tourette's blinking at me, and then he's like, "Oh, caked up." I'm like, "Whoa."
I was trying to say cheeked up.
Well, I mean, caked up
also
makes,
came
it
out.
makes sense though.
Have you ever opened a rotten potato?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's fucking awful.
Yes.
My dumb fucking parents, one time, it was just me and then my two parents eating that night for some reason. But they gave me like a potato, and it smelled weird. And I was like, oh, what the fuck? And so I cut into it, and when I cut it was fucking black inside and like gooey and fucking gross. And it made me want to vomit. Like the smell made me want to vomit.
Yeah.
They would not fucking believe me that it was bad. It took like a good like minute before the smell finally reached their nose, and they were like, oh, jeez. And I'm like, what the fuck do you think I'm just like, this potato's bad. Give me new potato. No, it's like the fucking potato's bad. It's got fucking tar in it.
Yeah.
Like, the fuck is this? But
they
that
smells so bad.
like that's a legitimate fear now. Is like doing that or like cracking an egg and a chick falling out. It's all like on my list of like biggest fears.
My mom cracked an egg and 2 yolks came out once.
See, I don't eat those.
Yeah.
I can't do
I don't
it.
think I would either.
No, I'm just like, look, I don't like this. Like these were twins.
Yeah.
It's like eating the Olsons.
I'd eat the Olsons.
Would you? There's like no meat on them.
I mean,
Be all bone. You'd have to get KFC to put the seasoning and stuff on it, because then make the skin worth it.
Oh, I remember there's a joke. There's a joke about someone who brought like a bucket of chicken, and was like, "Don't worry, I took all the skin off so it wouldn't get in the way."
Oh,
and then he just
Jesus.
has a plate of skin. I forget if it's a commercial or a movie.
Well, there's a South Park episode where Cartman does that. They like get home with a bucket of KFC, and he's all hyped to eat it. And he runs in with the bucket, and they're like, "Hang on, like, come help me get the groceries out of the car, and then we'll all eat." And while everyone's doing that, he runs inside and peels all the skin off the chicken and eats it.
Yes.
And it's an episode where he thinks he's dead because they stopped talking to him. And he like blows up his fucking toilet because of all the skin.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite episodes because there's a fucking hilarious scene where he's walking by his house and he hears his mom crying. He's like, "Oh no, mom," because he's like dead. And he runs up to the window and he's like listening to her crying. He's like, "Ah," and he starts crying. And the camera pops up into the window and she's getting banged by some dude.
Oh, his mom?
Yeah, because like the joke is his mom is a whore.
Yeah. And it fucked everyone in town.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched that? Were you allowed to watch that?
South Park?
Mhm.
I mean, I didn't have TV, so I didn't watch it. But I also wasn't like necessarily allowed per se. But it doesn't matter. So
I kind of had to force my way into watching South Park because I wasn't allowed to watch it, and I just kind of started one day.
yeah.
And my mom walked into the room one day. She was like, "Is that South Park?" And I was like, "Yep." And she was like, "It's an awful show," and just kept on walking. And I was like, "Yeah, I fucking won." Like,
Before we continue talking about dumb shit,
Yeah.
you both, I don't know if you said it, Gabe, but Tommy, you said while we were listening to the album that Kanye is a genius, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
He's
You said- okay.
He's a fucking miracle worker.
I came across a TikTok today, which had like a couple hundred views. Like I have no idea how it came on my For You page, but TikTok knows how to get me apparently.
That's their whole job.
Yeah, but what I'm about to tell you is going to make you think that he's even more genius. Are you guys familiar with the Divine Comedy by Dante Alighieri?
yeah,
Yeah. So Kanye
it's an allegory by an allegory.
well, it is an allegory,
Yeah.
about the soul's journey. But so Kanye had 3 listening events, right?
Mm-hmm.
This dude kind of figured out that each listening event was like a part of the Divine Comedy. So the first listening event was Inferno, which is hell.
Uh-huh.
And so, do you know anything about the Divine Comedy, Gabe?
Not very much.
Okay, so it's written by Dante
You had my book
Alighieri.
forever.
It
I know.
You never read it.
Because I went on vacation and we weren't allowed to come back to the apartment. So it just went to.
But anyways, it was
Yeah, go
written
ahead.
in like the medieval times, like I think it started being written in like 1265, something like that, and didn't get finished till like the 1280s or something.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like what started like Italy's Renaissance in terms of literature and poetry and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was written. Dante Alighieri is
He's-
like very respected and like
Yeah.
looked well upon character.
Yeah, so this is like the classic of all classics.
Yeah. He basically created like a new writing like architecture basically.
And yeah, so it's an epic poem. Epic meaning just like super super long, you know,
Structure.
like Homer's stuff.
Structure, not architecture.
But what was I just gonna say? But anyway, so the Divine Comedy is like broken up into 3 different parts, and it's about Dante himself. It's an allegory for the story of his soul journeying through hell, which is called Inferno, which is the first part of the book, to purgatory, which is kind of Earth where we live, and
is Purgatorio? Isn't that?
Yeah, and
it's still just purgatory.
And then there's Paradiso, or like paradise, which is ascension to heaven.
Yeah.
So there's like 3 parts of the book, and Kanye did 3 listening events. The first listening event, Kanye is like wearing all the red, and he has like the weird pantyhose over his face, and it's like just him, like no one else is there. And so that's supposed to be like tied to the allegory of being in Inferno, like it's just him in hell. And through Divine Comedy, the whole Divine Comedy, the storyline is like the allegory of the soul going through hell, which is recognition and like rejection of sin, which then you go to purgatory, which is like living a Christian life on earth. And then you go to paradise, which is like ascending to heaven after you die. And so the first listening event is supposedly likened to that first step of that story. He's wearing red, which symbolizes like sin and hell, and he's like by himself and suffering. And then the second listening event is where he has like the whole choir with him. There's a bunch of people there with like fucking cars driving around the listening event and whatnot. And so that's similar to, you know, like living as a penitent Christian, like you're surrounded by people like-minded in the church and whatnot. So that's the second listening event. And then the third listening event is when he has the church in like the middle of the arena. And so that's supposed to be likened to, you know, ascending to God and like reaching paradise.
Yeah.
The dude's symbolism is fucking out of this world. He's a genius.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking dope.
Either he's a genius or the people around him.
True, yeah. Yeah, who knows if that's his idea or not.
Yeah.
But I fucking love Dante. The Divine Comedy is like one of the first classics that I read, because I always thought that the imagery of heaven and hell, pretty much like everyone's depiction of what we think heaven and hell looks like, comes from that man. Yeah.
Cool.
So I was a big fan of that guy. And then if
I never got to
Kanye
meet
did
it.
intentionally, you know, mimic the Divine Comedy, it's amazing.
Also, great video game.
I never played it.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun, especially if you like the story.
I've been
It's fun.
meaning to, yeah.
I would like to play it
It's-
because it reminds me very much of God of War.
It's basically a God of War clone, but it like basically takes the story of the Divine Comedy and like plays with it a little bit, but then makes it like super like gory hardcore.
Yeah.
Because like the guy, the Crusader, it's Dante, right?
Mhm.
I don't know why.
Well, Dante's not a crusader, but I think in the game.
Well, in the game, he's a
It's
Crusader.
him,
Yeah. But I was thinking of who's the Virgil.
yeah,
Virgil's the poet. Yeah.
Virgil's his guide through hell and then through purgatory, and then he meets Beatrice, which in the book
Yeah.
is like his kind of ideal woman, and she's his guide to heaven.
Yeah, and so in the game, he's a Crusader, and Beatrice is his like wife to be or wife, and he is part of like I forgot what battle it is. Basically the slaughtering of Jerusalem, where they say like blood ran high in the streets and everything like that because there was so much murder happening. And he's comes home to Beatrice being stolen by a demon because she like makes. I remember what the story is. She like makes a pact for him to return or something like that. But it's all like super hardcore imagery. Like his Crusader outfit it's just he's got no shirt on, and it's a cross stitched into his skin.
Wow. Okay, I kind of want to play.
Yeah,
this.
like the opening of the game is him reading lines from the book or saying lines from the book, and he's sitting around a campfire and he's restitching some of it. It's like, what the fuck? Like the game goes hard. Like all the boss fights in it, the 7 boss fights or however many it is.
There's like 9 circles of hell.
Is it 9? I thought it was 7.
No, there's 9. Yeah.
I need to reread that because it's been a while.
Yeah, if you read the Divine Comedy, the Inferno, which is the first section of the book, is vastly more entertaining than the rest of it.
Yeah.
Because like the structure of hell, they're divided into 9 rings, 9 circles of hell, and depending on how bad of a person you were in life and what you're going to hell for, that determines which circle of hell you get put in, and like that circle has certain punishments.
Yeah.
So it's like the deeper down you go, the worse you were, and the worse kind of punishment.
That's why
you
I thought
get.
it was 7 because I thought it might have changed it for the game, but I could be wrong. I thought they were doing like the 7 deadly sins
No, it's
down
9.
it, but there might have been 2 more that they add in there. But anyway, in the game, it's like each boss fight is like a type of sin, and I think it's lust. Is this chick, and she has these her fucking nipples open up and release spiders or some
my
shit all over it.
gosh.
It's like super hardcore imagery.
Is this like Japanese or something?
No, I think it's American. I think it's an Activision game.
Oh,
Actually.
okay. Because I
Who made
feel
that? Hang
like
on.
Dante's Inferno is kind of like a hack and slash. It makes me think of like JRPGs, you know?
Yeah, a little bit.
Because it's like very like
it's a
combo
little,
oriented, right?
It's a little too like 3D God of War
Okay.
style. I just, fucking idiot. Just Google search Dante's Inferno, not game after it. Visceral Games, published by EA.
Interesting.
So Visceral Games, they've made a couple different things. Let me look at them real quick. Oh, they changed their name now?
the name sounds familiar.
Behavior Interactive. They're Canadian. Let's see what games they've made.
What
A Canadian made Dante's Inferno.
right?
Oh, they've been sued by Bethesda.
What for? Now that Bethesda has the power of Microsoft behind them, they will never lose.
Yeah.
Oh, they sued. What the fuck does this have to do with this game developer? They sued Warner Brothers Games, which must have. Sorry, I'm not talking to the microphone. Must have a fucking stake in this place. But they sued them for making a Westworld game too much like Fallout Shelter.
Oh.
Titles: The Grinch in 2000. They released. That's the game. Konami made the Grinch game for the movie. What the fuck?
There's a Grinch game?
Yeah, it was released in 2000. Look at that shit.
Bro, video games are never good.
Always ass.
Oh, yeah.
Always ass. Even the Pirates of the Caribbean ones, fun, ass.
Yeah,
ass.
no, they were bad, yeah.
I think honestly the only one I've ever found like actually enjoyable a little bit was Star Wars 3 had a pretty epic game.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good game. It's just fun.
Well, would you consider other Star Wars games to be like movie games, like the Battlefronts, you know?
No.
Oh, okay.
I would consider
So it has to be a game that follows the storyline of the movie?
it's like the novelizations of the movies. I don't consider extended lore. I know they add like little things in and stuff like that, but when I think about the extended lore, I'm thinking about everything that's not just directly adapted from like that story.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so they made the Grinch, Bugs Bunny, and Taz, Time Buster, Smurf Racer,
Are there any that I know of?
Monsters Inc. Scream Team, Scooby-Doo Mystery Mayhem, Ice Age, lots of movie games.
How did they make all these children's stuff and then go make Dante's Inferno?
Maybe that's why
Carmen's-
they lashed out so
Yeah.
hard.
Carmen Sandiego, The Secret of the Stolen Drums.
Dude, I
Home on the Range.
Home on the Range, dude. I used to play the
Impossible
shit out of that game on Game Boy.
Oh, that's right.
yeah.
I forgot I had that fucking game.
That
I didn't
game-
like the movie all that much. I have a friend
It was
who really
fine. I
likes
liked the
it.
movie.
But get on the mic. Oh, Lizzie McGuire too.
What?
That's so Raven too. Okay, come on.
What?
Let's get past. Wow, all the Sweet Life movies.
Dude, get to their current games. What is this?
I'm fucking trying, bro. They got-
Nostalgic.
Yes.
Oh, wait.
These are all like 20 years old.
Okay. Oh, they did Indiana Jones and the Staff of Kings. That's such a good game. Yeah, Dante's Inferno.
So close.
Didn't even know that was a game.
It's such a good game. Naughty Bear. Do you remember that game?
No.
Are you sure, Tanner?
3D Ultra Mini Golf Adventures 2. Isn't that the one that Funhouse plays?
I have no idea.
There's a game just called Wet.
Nice.
Yes.
There's a band just called Wet. They're pretty good.
The Lord of Rings Conquest. The DS game. It must have sucked. Mercenaries 2, World in Flames. They did that.
You say these like these are games
You
I
never
know.
played Mercenaries 2?
No.
Iron Man the game. Wow.
These all sound old. I didn't play video games at this time.
That's
when these
Drake
came
and Josh. Why
He
the
wasn't
fuck did they have a
born
game?
yet.
out. Tommy, current games.
Current games. Well,
Right.
as Behavior Interactive,
I'll accept 2015 to now.
Anything
Fallout,
close to Dante or earlier.
Fallout Shelter,
Okay.
the Peanuts movie. So they're still making movie games. Warhammer
keeps them in
40K, Eternal Crusade, Dead by Daylight, Halo Wars Definitive Edition.
They're
West-
making a new Dead by Daylight, I think. It looks pretty good.
I think so.
Is
That's
that the one?
like that parkour zombie game, right?
What the fuck? They did Middle Earth: Shadow of Mordor.
I fucking love that game.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
Is Dead by Daylight the game with your serial killer hunting people,
No.
and you can play as both of them?
No,
No,
that's
it's like
oh fuck, what's the name of that game?
No, that is Dead by Daylight.
Oh, what am I thinking? Oh, I'm thinking of
the zombie,
Dying Light.
Dying Light, yeah, the
Yeah.
zombie game. Yeah, Dead
yes.
by Daylight is that one.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool game. I wish
It's
that I could play it, but
it's
I can't.
good in theory. That game sucks ass. It's
Yeah, a game like that,
It
where
is
it's
so
clunky.
bad to play. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super clunky. It's hard to. Lots of like you dying in it is
Uh-huh.
because like just shitty animations or shitty button controls and stuff like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
so the
and the
second one will
fucking-
probably be really
the-
cool because they'll up the budget.
Hopefully.
No, so there's not a second one because I was thinking of a different game.
Dying Light.
Ow.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, but it's
I
just
sound like I can play it. I can't play that game.
it's just
Why
super
not?
clunky.
I'm don't like being scared of things.
Oh, scary
I-
games are fun, dude. I
That's a
love scary
legit
games.
problem I've had with playing that game.
Well,
Like,
remember
I don't like being chased. Like I don't like that shit.
remember
We should
I
all
told
sit
you
down
guys-
and play through a scary game.
Oh, dude, I'm down. We used to do that in high
I've
school.
been
So
wanting
much
to
fun.
play the medium.
I can watch you play through a
Oh,
scary
we
game.
should play the.
Well, that's kind of how it would work, yeah.
Okay.
Or we
Yeah.
would like take turns, you know.
It's not necessary.
Have I shown you the video of me and my friend trying to get through Outlast?
Yeah, you have. Well, I think you showed me that shortly after I played through Outlast with me and my buddy. Because there's been multiple times where we've like hung out and done like an all-nighter and played through a scary game.
Yeah.
And fuck, what's that like art-oriented game?
What?
I can't remember, but we played through it and it was really good. But-
Art-oriented game.
Yeah,
is it like a scary game?
yeah, it's like a scary game about the paint.
Craven Manor.
No, it's about like a painter who like kind of loses his mind as he's painting.
Yeah, but
And
you
he's like-
play in the house, right?
Uh-huh.
Oh God, Funhouse played it,
It's really good.
or not Funhouse? Super
but-
Best Friends.
But like as you're figuring out the story, you're like trying to figure out like what happens.
Layers
to
of
your
Fear.
wife. Layers of Fear. Yeah.
Yeah.
Layers of Fear was good. That game fucked with your brain, and for being an independent game, it's super good.
Yeah.
There's a game that I'm sure you guys are gonna be like, that's child's play. But there's a game that I watched someone play through, and I was freaking the fuck out the whole time. And it's this game, I don't know what it's called, but it's like a asylum that you have to sneak into with the video
Outlast.
camera. Outlast.
Yeah.
And there's a part where there's like a guy in a wheelchair, and you have to like sneak past him.
That's the very first scare of the game.
Notoriously one of the most scariest games.
Yeah.
Outlast is really good. Outlast 2 got fucking weird.
Yeah, so Outlast 2, I played the demo of with a friend on Halloween night. And there's a scare in there because the demo was like, it just was a couple areas from the game, but it took I have a problem with like one of the scariest horror I guess mechanics to me is, I guess what's the word? Like the unknown of the next room.
Yeah.
So when, like, for instance, the ending of It 2, like they'll be in one room, they'll open a door, and suddenly like the world turns like into a completely different area. Like you're in a completely different place. I used to have dreams like that all the fucking time.
That sounds fun.
It's not. No, it's not, because you never know when you're awake.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you pop into your room or something like that, and you're like, "Oh, I'm fine," and then you're just like, "I don't feel fine." Like something's up, and then you'll leave the room and be somewhere else. It gets old fast. Point is, that's what that demo's like. Like you open a door and suddenly you're from a cornfield. You're in like a schoolhouse.
Outlast 2 is?
The demo.
Oh.
And it came out on Halloween night when me and a buddy were playing it. And there's a scare in the school because you just have to walk around this dark, empty school at night. And there's a scare in there that literally just like randomly happens. And it's just this in-your-face jump scare. There's no way to prepare for it. There's no trigger that you could have been warned for. It just happens at some point. And we're walking around the school and it fucking happens. And we both screamed. I screamed so hard I blacked out. Like I came to and I was like, what the fuck? Because it was so like viscerally terrifying. And then after that, you're allowed to leave the school. And once you do that, then you have to run away from a bunch of crazy cult fuckers in this cornfield.
Yeah.
I was losing my
I know,
shit.
Yeah, I know that part that you're talking about. That's very stressful.
And I've seen the storyline of 2 because I've seen like videos and I've looked
gets
at the
weird,
synopsis.
yeah.
It takes some really dark turns.
It takes, some kind of fucky turns.
Yeah.
So like Outlast 1 and 2 are both really good games, but they definitely rely on like shock value.
Yeah.
But Karina and I played through that Layers of Fear game. It's so good because it's just like unsettling. And it's like it's more like psychological than Outlast is just like kind of jump scary, you know?
My favorite.
And that's the kind of shit that I like. I don't think there's enough games that do that. But Karina and I played
Scrumptious.
through Layers of Fear and she loved it. Like after we had finished it, we're like, whoa, like what just happened?
She's made of steel. She's very brave.
It's so good.
I hate scary shit.
I enjoy watching people play scary games, but I can't do it.
It's definitely really fun to sit down with a group of people. And
Yeah,
play
that takes a
games.
special kind of person, and I will never understand.
I
how
will
they do
man
it.
the wheel. We can play through it
Yeah.
Just vibe and hang out.
At the helm,
Play
please.
through scary games, yeah.
Yeah, I will watch, but I can't make decisions in those types of situations when I can't see the whole screen.
Yeah.
Like, it annoys me. Like, being in first person in any situation on a screen really fucks with me because I'm like, I can't see.
Well, it's
and
like
irritating.
It puts you in it more so than a horror movie does.
Oh, yeah.
Because like you're in some way responsible for what's about to happen, which just elevates kind of the level of stress that you feel.
And when I die, it hurts. It feels like I'm dying.
Did you guys ever play that Resident Evil, the new one?
No.
Or not the new one, but the new one.
7?
Yeah, 7.
No, I've watched playthroughs of it, and I don't think I will ever be able to touch that game.
It is too much. Like, I've played a handful of horror games. That one it's rough.
Like, it's scary rough?
Yeah, it hurts me physically to play that game.
Oh, that just made me...
I need to get through it, though. I need to.
No, you don't have to. It's
No,
not
I
worth
need
it.
to.
I hate...
I need to.
That movie is responsible for making me hate zombies on the level that I hate them. Because the first video game of Resident Evil, they used to use to, like, terrify me as a kid. So if I was punished, I'd have to sit in a room with that game and play through it. Or just watch someone play it. And I was really afraid of shit back then. And it was really shitty graphics. So now it's fine. But the noises still get me till this day. So I hated it. But I still watch the Resident Evil that has Michelle Williams. Nope. Rodriguez? Michelle Rodriguez?
That's the first
I
Resident
don't know.
Evil.
I never
Yeah.
watched any of those movies.
They're not good.
I kind of could tell.
Yeah. I tried to watch the first one, and I was like, this sucks. I don't know why people
That's
like
the same
this.
chick from The Fourth Kind, right?
What?
The chick in the
No.
Resident
Oh,
Evil
yeah,
movies?
Mila Jovovich, or whatever the
Yeah,
fucking name is.
yeah.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she's
Yes.
the chick from the fourth one.
Yes. I forgot about that. Holy shit.
Did you guys ever play the Silent Hill games?
No. Because I like myself.
So I specifically asked for Silent Hill Downpour one Christmas because the Super Best Friends played it, and I was like, "Oh, that looks like fun to play." And
It does?
yeah, and I couldn't play it, so it sat in my game like case until me and two buddies sat down, and one of the guys was fine playing horror games when we played it, and it wasn't that bad.
No, it's not that bad. The story is very interesting. I like the Silent Hill story. But
Yeah.
I can't remember if it's like Silent Hill 1 or 2, or maybe it's both. But it's like the camera angles are like fixed
That's Silent Hill 2, and it's fucky.
as you're like running through rooms. Like
Oh, that's Silent Hill 2 and 3.
I don't know, but
3.
it's super super clunky. But it's like, I don't know. It did something to that game. You know, it made it special.
Yeah, no, Silent Hill 2 is to me the scariest one because like 95% of the fear in that game is all from the atmosphere. Like, yes, jump scares happen here or there, and like there are monsters that you have to kill or like run from in some parts, but for the most part, it's like just this constant like drone in the background, and you're in this like dark apartment building. It's super dingy, super dirty, and like you walk into a room at one point, and you're standing in the room, and from the bathroom, you just hear like.
Yeah, the atmosphere of Silent Hill is really
It
good.
is all about getting you like super antsy and like super afraid to make your next move. That's why I can't play it, because I'm already 5 scares ahead of that scare, and I'm already terrified.
Okay. So we'll play horror games, but I mean, like, I'll play it, and then you guys just hang out.
Yeah, I'll watch.
Okay.
That's
You
fine.
can watch me scream.
I enjoy watching.
I have a good
games.
amount of horror games like saved that I've either bought or that's through Game Pass that I've been waiting to play, and I will never play them by myself because I'm a pussy. But
Because you're a smart man.
if someone will hang out while I play it,
Yeah, no.
that's how I get through horror games.
Yeah. Storm's going to sleep with me now. From now.
Yeah.
My contribution to scary games is Five Nights at Freddy's. Scariest shit ever. Have you guys ever played Five Nights at Freddy's?
No. But
you haven't? We should play that.
I've never
They're on
played it,
Game
but
Pass.
I've watched like all of Markiplier's videos on Five Nights at Freddy's, because kind of like back when I watched his channel, like the first couple of Five Nights at Freddy's games, he was like, I don't really remember what he was doing, but he was like playing through it to try to like beat records and shit. And that was really fun to watch. So I'm familiar with the franchise through him.
It scared me. I watched someone play it and I was like, why would you play this game? And then Spitz got really into it. He even had a birthday party That was Five Nights at Freddy's theme.
Those games kind of came out around the time that the Slender Men game was popular, right?
Yeah. I played Slenderman. That was a mistake.
So there's Halo 5 has like an arenas mode, or not arenas, but like what is it called? But like a workshop mode where you can like
Forge.
make games. Forge, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was playing with some friends. This was like a year or two ago, and we found a Forge map that was Slenderman redone for Halo.
Interesting.
And so it's like one person is like the Flood, which is
it's
like a zombie with a
infected.
sword. Yeah,
Yeah.
infected. And then everyone else is trying to run around the map and find the papers. And the Slenderman can like teleport around, and it's just so fucking funny to pop in front of your friends' like faces and just hear them scream as they're scrambling for these papers and just fuck them up. It is hands down the most fun I've ever had. Like Dead by Daylight did a good job in like putting one person in control of being the scary guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there should be more games like that. I think that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I like the idea of it. Like, I really wanted to like Dead by Daylight. They just got to figure out how to make those controls better.
I mean, start with changing the camera angle. Like,
yeah.
Even just like that's probably number one thing that you should consider as a game developer,
they
is the
should
camera
just-
angle, and it's just bad.
Just keep it first person. First person makes it scarier.
That's true. Yeah.
Like 100%. Like you, it's like the difference of like, you know how there's that thing where
But the killer is first person,
The killer's
in Dead by
is the
Daylight.
killer? I don't think the killer is.
isn't he?
I've never played as the killer.
When you
in
play,
Dead by Daylight.
I don't remember.
yeah, no, when you play as the killer, you can only see first person.
Okay, but
which is how they always miss.
I might
you
be
when you
thinking
run
of the
past
Friday
them.
the 13th game.
that one's not great either. But
No, it's not.
The
But very
survivors,
similar.
the
Yeah.
survivors are third person.
Third person, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, just keep it first person because it's like that thing where things that are faster or things that are closer appear faster
Yeah.
than things that are farther away.
Yeah.
It's there's that same idea. People in first person, it changes the fucking game. Like when Silent Hills, that playable trailer came out, that super fucking terrifying playable trailer. That one was so terrifying because it was in first person. Silent Hills in third person. Silent Hill 7.
Yeah. Famously.
Silent Hills in
person.
third person. It doesn't. It doesn't. You're not the person.
Yeah, you're disconnected by one.
Yeah,
step.
it's a weird thing. It's where you're focused on what's all around you, and there's a reason things being out of your field of view are scary in first person.
Yeah.
Because in real life, that shit's scary.
Did you ever play Alien Isolation?
So,
I heard that was good.
I heard that too. Me and a couple friends sat down, and a buddy of ours showed up, and he took the helm from me because I was having trouble. And we played probably a good 40 minutes, 50 minutes of that game, and we didn't even get close to seeing an alien.
Yeah.
And we were like, fuck, like, this is probably a great game once it gets started.
It's like a games game.
Well, it's one of those games where you have to, like, you get on, like, all the ships are a fucking maze. It's linear, so you definitely are supposed to go in a direction, and stuff like that.
But it's hard to figure out which direction.
But it's hard to get your bearings, and then the whole point is you're exploring this, like, destroyed ship, right? That it obviously has an alien on it.
Yeah.
But you have to, like, maze your way through this destroyed ship. Like, it's like Silent Hill in that there's puzzles and stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of stuff you have to do. There's crafting tables. There's a bunch of stuff.
I don't want to have to think about it. I just want the scares.
See, that's the thing is I was like, I just want the primal, like, hide from the alien.
Fear.
Yeah. And fucking Ripley wasn't worried about how much scrap metal she could collect out of lockers so she could make a certain key or anything like that. She was running around with a gun, terrified. Like, that's what I want to be.
Terrified.
Yes, a woman in my underwear, terrified.
I know. I've been meeting. I think
I know.
I think I played like the trailer or the demo of that game, but never did more than that. But
That was-
fucking EA's doing a new Dead Space. They're
Are
renewing that franchise. Yeah,
Oh.
this just came out like a week or two ago. They put out footage of kind of like the new engine that they're testing like Dead Space on right now. And it's kind of been rumored that like, well, a couple of weeks ago, EA put out like a statement that like we're gonna revive like an old franchise. What's it gonna be? And it turned out to be Dead Space. I think.
What's Dead Space?
I've never played them. Because when they were out and popular, I was kind of too young to play those kinds of games. But I don't know. You're like an astronaut that like
No, Dead Space.
Not even astronaut, but it's like future sci-fi.
It takes place in the future, and
Yeah.
you're a welder. You're like just like a maintenance guy, and this ship
Is-
you get called to a ship with the team because there's been like heavy damage to the ship or something like that, and they've been getting distress signals and all that stuff, and you get on it, and it's infested with aliens called necromorphs, and they're these like fucking spidery legged, crazy things. It's a terrifying fucking game, and I was doing okay with it. That's probably the one scary game I've gotten through the most time with.
It's pretty like gory and brutal though, isn't it?
Yeah, and then like whenever like your weapon is you're equipped with a nail gun, so or not is it a nail gun?
I don't know, but
It's an arc blaster kind of thing. It creates like these like slicing things. It's like a maintenance tool. It's basically a space nail gun, but you shoot that at the limbs of the things to get them to stop like moving, and then like you have to cut their heads off or something like that.
Yeah, so the videos that EA put out recently was like it showed kind of in-game like working footage of you shooting off their like weird appendage limbs, you know? And it looks pretty damn good. So like it's still very, very much a work in progress, but it has potential.
I played that game with my panties unsoiled all the way up until a save point where I went, oh, thank God, a save point. Save. Popped out of the save menu, turned around, and there's one behind me.
Soiled.
Like they just did that.
Yeah.
It was like the only ever time I've had it happen in a game is there was a really cool game that was really not really small, but just kind of flew under the radar. It was called Singularity. Did you ever play that?
No, but I've heard of it.
Pretty cool game.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting game. Pretty fun game. Me and a buddy picked it up for like $5 a piece, like one time, and we played it. And you're investigating like an abandoned. What's the term? Like laboratory, I guess. Like it's an abandoned island with an abandoned laboratory, and they were doing all this time experiments and stuff like this. But
I'm just imagining turning around from the fucking save menu and then jumping at
yeah, no, I literally went and I paused the game and I was like, "Fuck that game," and I turned it off.
Never touched it again.
Never touched it again. I have all three of them. I was given all three of them.
I thought there was 2 of them.
No, there's 3.
Oh.
But what were they talking about? But in one of the labs, there's like a camera on a shelf, and you walk up to it and it says, "Take a picture." It's like a Polaroid camera.
Yeah.
And so you go, and it flashes at you, and it spits the picture out, and you pull it out. When you look at it, there's a monster behind you, and it fucking goes, and you're like, this is the first time anything like this has happened to me in a game, and they did it. It's like a good 50 minutes in where you're comfortable and you're like, oh, cool. Like this one's got a little camera. What's this do? It fucked me up so hard. I was like, oh my fucking God, that's not okay. Like, why? It's bad.
Does it kill you? Does it kill you?
No, you have to fight it. It almost killed me. But then you're just like, bang, bang, bang. Like you're just shooting in random directions because this thing is like in your fucking face.
Have you guys ever played a game that was like scary but unintentionally so?
Minecraft.
Oh, yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Minecraft and then Oblivion.
Why was Oblivion scary?
I've always found Oblivion. I love Oblivion. But the music that plays in like the forest areas sometimes and stuff like that.
Kind of eerie.
There's like an eerie track on there that would always play to the point where I am actually disgusted at myself that I'm about to admit this. But before I became aware of Jeremy's soul with the Skyrim soundtrack, of like, oh my God, this is amazing. Because of that music in Oblivion, I turned the music all the way down in the game.
Oh no.
Yeah. I've since corrected this and did no longer do it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
Here's my 2-year coin.
We will hold this against you.
No, but anyway, but it used to freak me the fuck out because like even Skyrim, like in those foresty areas when it gets real quiet or something like that, it can get fucking eerie because you're just waiting for something to happen at that point. But that's also a game that's kind of meant to be scary.
Yeah,
like in some parts.
Have you heard of Subnautica?
Yeah, that game. That fucking game.
Not intentionally meant to be scary, but it is.
No,
Gabe,
terrifying.
Do you have any idea what Subnautica is?
No.
So the premise of Subnautica is like you're some kind of like astronaut or something surveying a planet, and you crash land on kind of like this water planet, and you have to survive. So you kind of like start mining shit. You have like this super high tech advanced technology with you, so you can kind of design like a water base and submarines and that kind of stuff, and you can. It's like a survival crafting game, you know.
Okay.
And so you start getting materials and building a base and building more stuff to get more materials and whatnot. And you can be hours and hours into this game, build a really nice base, and then all of a sudden you're out in the ocean, like deep ocean, because it's a planet of water, and you just see like a fucking leviathan out in the distance, just this weird ass sea creature that is hundreds of times bigger than you, and it just comes at you, and you just all of a sudden feel this weird feeling of what's the name for ocean fear, like deep water fear,
Thalassophobia?
something like that. I don't know.
Oh no, thalassophobia is things underwater.
But like you just all of a sudden get this super unrealistic fear
Where you feel small in
you
comparison.
feel so fucking tiny because this
Insignificant.
huge sea monster, bigger than the tallest skyscraper you've ever seen, just comes at you and eats you.
If toothpicks were alive, that's what you would feel like.
No,
But
yeah, that game.
Subnautica is a great game because you can spend hours and hours
That
just
sounds
like
cool.
surviving and building a super cool base and exploring the ocean, and all of a sudden you just see this fucking deadly ass giant creature.
So
See-
it's just like you're in an aquarium at all times.
Yeah,
I really
That
wanted.
sounds so
I
cool.
really wanted to like Subnautica, but I couldn't get over the fact that every time I was underwater, I was so fucking anxious. Anxious. I was
because
like, oh
if
my
you just look
God.
down and see nothing underneath you,
Yeah.
like it's terrifying. So I remember when I started that game, I would stay in the shallow areas, and then I finally built
Yeah.
a base large enough, and then I explored kind of the deeper waters. I was like, nope, not for me, dude.
Jesus, it's just and
There's something about the deep ocean that just scares me.
no, I don't fuck with the ocean, bro. I don't fuck with the war.
I love the ocean.
No,
It's such
Do you
a
fuck with the horn?
do you fuck with the war? I don't fuck with the ocean. The ocean can fuck off. There's a reason we haven't explored it, and it's because it's fucking awful. It is alien.
we have explored, and we got to a certain point where like maybe not anymore.
Haven't we only explored like 20% of our ocean?
Something like that. Well, it's
I
like,
think it's less.
well, even as far as our technology is now, we haven't discovered the deepest part of the ocean. Like
No.
we can't get that deep. And the deeper you go, the weirder life gets down there.
Oh yeah, there's still stuff coming out about.
Holy shit, 5%.
Wow,
It's 5%?
5%. We know 5% of the ocean.
I'm pretty sure that
Yikes.
used to be 2% when I was in like second grade.
Well,
So I was really into the ocean as a
yeah,
child.
the ocean is cool. I remember when this was like freshman or sophomore year. I was in biology class, and a video just came out, and our biology teacher showed us this video of the first ever like recorded video of a giant squid.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
It's fucking insane.
It's terrifying.
Like when you realize the pirates did see a kraken. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Shit like that.
it's nuts.
Yeah.
Well, I remember when that video came out, I was also in school, and I think my like an oceanography teacher,
Did someone say ogre?
she was showing us that video, and I was like, yeah, well, because krakens, like, of course these exist. Did we not think they were real? And she's like, no, they were a myth, technically. She's like,
Yeah.
but like people speculated. And I was like, but krakens? And she's like, well, that's a fucking fake animal.
Yeah.
So the ocean is my ultimate, like, fuck you. Like, right? Like, if I'm like, okay, let's say I'm with, like, friends or something, and they're all like, we're going to go to Mexico, right? Like, you coming or not? They could probably convince me as long as I knew, like, all of them were actually going, right? Like, it wasn't going to be a thing where it was just, like, 3 of us, right? If I knew it was a bunch of us and we were going to, like, a safer area, you could probably convince me to go just for the fucking story, right?
Okay.
You will never convince me to go scuba diving in the ocean. Never. You will never convince me to go, I might snorkel, but like in the shallow areas. But you're never going to convince me to go like deep sea diving or like go fucking like deep sea fishing or anything like that. Like I'll go party on a boat, but I ain't going to fuck with shit underneath. Like you fucking with me right now?
Yeah.
Fuck the ocean.
Well, so have you heard about deep sea gigantism?
Oh, like when
Excuse
fish
me?
like are like fucking ginormous underneath?
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the deeper you go, the larger life forms tend to get, except for like kind of the like microscopic shit.
Yeah.
But and it's something to do with the pressure and the coldness and the lack of predators that certain like species of sea animals get fucking huge, and that's where giant squid come from.
Yeah.
And
Because
it's
there's
like,
nothing to eat them,
Oh.
so they just keep living.
yeah, Yeah, and it's kind of like similar. I guess It's been a while since I watched the YouTube video, but there's this YouTube channel that touches on deep sea gigantism, and it's a great documentary. But kind of similar to the thought of whale sharks. It's kind of like the larger that you get, the more nutrients and food that you can take in, because you know how whale sharks basically are eating krill and like super, super tiny organisms.
Yeah.
And the more of that you can take in, the more sustained you'll be.
Yes.
And so it's the same thing for deep sea gigantism. It's like the larger you get, the more food that you can get from your habitat. But then also it's because you're so big, your energy levels are like very sustainable, because like you're not needing to kind of, I don't really know what the logic is, because they don't move as much. So it's like you can grow bigger and get more food, but not necessarily spend those calories on needing to move around.
Yeah, because
like it's a really weird catch-22. Yeah.
For anyone who is made a bet with their friend, he lost me about 2 minutes ago.
That's okay. But it's like an 8-minute video documentary.
Yeah, I would enjoy watching that.
You, Tommy.
So
it's super interesting.
My ocean is the fuck you place, right?
Yeah.
Like you're never gonna like you will. I could. Fuck, Anna de Armas might be able to get me to do it, but I got to be like handcuffed to that bitch. Like, like if I'm going down, you're not going back to Ben Affleck. But point is, number one, fuck you place. Also, my favorite place for like stories. Like I love pirates and shit like that. But like all the old pirate stories and stuff like that. Like one of my favorite rums is Kraken. Like because of that. Like I fucking love old pirate myths and stuff like that.
No, I love
all
like,
based on something.
There's so many theories surrounding like old timey like maps. You know, when they used to have kind of like the weird sea creatures drawn into it. Mm-hmm. It's like, where did they get the inspiration for that?
From the fucking things in the ocean.
There's super weird evidence that kind of shows that they may have seen something kind of to us out of this world that inspired them to draw these weird creatures on this map.
Yeah, well what's crazy is like, so I'm about to go on a tangent.
Is it about mermaids?
No.
Oh, mermaids are nuts.
So first off, let's talk about this. Krakens have beaks. Mm-hmm. Right? Or krakens.
Well, squids.
Yeah, squids.
Yeah.
If you look at a squid from, like, if a squid is upside down to where you can see its beak and everything like that, it looks like a fucking alien.
It looks weird as hell.
It's a fucking alien.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the UFO world, like conspiracy world, is slowly headed towards a very weird narrowing point where a lot of the evidence that like the military is releasing and stuff like that of like, hey, here's shit that we don't know what the fuck it was. It's all shit like shooting down into the ocean and all this stuff. Like it's always involving the ocean. It's always happening on a coast. And that's why experts such as me personally believe that
experts personally
the ocean is where the aliens are.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But
there's also a movie called The Abyss.
I fucking love the ocean. I will swim with dolphins. I will swim with turtles. I will swim.
He was gonna go say sharks, and he's like, "I'll swim with shit."
Dude,
turtles?
I saw a video of like a shark cage recently.
Yeah.
Where it's
Did you send it to me?
No.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't know you were into this. So otherwise, I would have. But there's like a pair of shark cages tied to the end of this boat, and a huge great white somehow fucking whipped his way inside the shark cage.
You did send this to me.
Oh, I've seen that
did
video.
Yeah, and he's tumbling around in there, and the water's splashing everywhere for like a minute, and it somehow gets out, and then a diver somehow crawls out of it like nothing happened.
There's an insane amount of videos of shark cages failing.
Yeah, that's insane.
Like I don't know if it's just really hard to test a shark cage or if there's some specification that's fucked up or something, but they tend to fail.
I mean, just put more like rods of iron in there, make it smaller.
See, that's what I never got about shark cages. But I'm like, why not do a grid? Are you really just like I want to be as close to the shark as possible?
Do you know what shark cages are made out of?
What are they made out of?
They're hollow.
Why? So it floats.
So it floats.
Well, no, but
okay,
don't they fall into the
something.
ocean?
Even with the floaties on the top, they'll sink because they'll fill up with water.
Yeah, but attach it to a wire connected to the boat. It won't go anywhere.
That's what that one was.
The video
attached.
that I was talking about, it was right on the surface.
Yeah.
Like this shark got into the cage and
I've
the crew
seen
on
it,
the boat we're like, what do we do?
Yeah, because
You just open the top and wait for it to jump out.
I remember them taking the video and they're like,
And it did eventually, and it was huge.
Yeah.
But those
It's
things
fucking
are
nuts.
not meant to take on a huge shark. They're made to deter a shark from putting in the effort to get what's inside.
Well, that one did.
Yeah.
So obviously not designed
Like,
correctly.
put a fucking Vienna sausage in a cage like that and hold it in front of my face and see how fucking quickly I demolish that cage.
Okay, but see, their intention is like, I'm not defending these people. I don't think people should swim with sharks.
Whoever was like the facilitating that visit did a terrible job.
Yeah.
Because you're supposed to kind of like chum the waters and feed them a little bit before people ever get in the water.
Yeah,
So that
so
the
they're-
sharks are docile.
Yeah.
That one was not.
Nah.
Yeah.
He ran for him and like crashed and then got in. Like he put an effort to get
It's
in that cage.
insane to me how it got in though. Because that shark was huge.
I've seen a lot of Shark Week. I've seen a lot of videos where they get in.
I love Shark Week.
Me too.
Do you guys remember Mermaid Week though?
No. What? Who's gay?
No, there was this like week on Discovery Channel where it was just all documentaries about mermaids, and it was like footage that they found from the internet about so-called mermaid sightings and stuff. Surprisingly believable.
Oh yeah, there was this huge thing that came out when I was in school, like a freshman, and it was like this forbidden mermaid documentary that eventually got like removed from the air or something, like a big hullabaloo. I never got to see it because I was at school, but I totally believe that these things exist. Like, I believe anything that you tell me can possibly exist in the ocean, absolutely 100% is in the ocean.
Like, think of how much we don't know about space. It's a lot. We don't know a lot about it. Aliens exist. Think about how much we don't know about the ocean.
Aliens
There's
exist.
probably a shit ton of stuff in the ocean that exists that we couldn't even comprehend.
Yeah, I think that all those big things in the ocean were eventually had come up because like blue whales go way down there and then they come up to the surface. And I think a lot of them used to do that more often, and that's where like pirate maps and stuff like that come from.
Yeah.
And I think that we're just too awful for them to want to come up. There's just a lot of us now, and we use the ocean to, trade all the time, and it's just gotten bigger. But eventually they'll stay down there for too long, and the other things that are much, much, much bigger are going to get pissed and wake up or start moving a lot more.
God, I hope so. I can't wait to discover more of the ocean. Like,
Dude, I can't wait to fucking be in a goddamn Pacific Rim mech.
I want
From your description,
Yeah,
I'm like,
I
fuck
want-
yeah, let's build.
Tommy, this YouTube channel that did like the deep sea gigantism video, they
Yeah.
do a bunch of videos about like weird stuff that happens in the ocean, which is documented in like scientific fact.
Yeah.
And it's all super interesting.
Scientific fact. What book is that? Who wrote that?
I don't know, like Darwin? I don't know.
Darwin.
He's still writing, huh?
No, but the channel's super interesting is my point.
No, yeah,
like,
yeah, I'm just fucking
I'll
with you.
share it with you. It's super good.
No, yeah, I am interested in watching that stuff. I find the bottom of the ocean incredibly interesting. Everything in between, I don't want to fuck with.
Well, I mean, fucking back to deep sea gigantism. Have you seen those giant king crabs or whatever?
Yeah, oh
that
yeah,
are 2 meters long.
yeah.
With the
Aren't those on an
giant-ass
island
arms.
or are those on the ocean floor?
No, they're on the ocean floor, and it's because of how deep they are that they were able to grow so big. Because in terms of like energy expulsion from
Yeah.
their movements, it's so small that they can grow to be so large.
Yeah, because think about how much little effort you have to do in the middle of the water, like in a pool.
Oh, they're called
Just
spider crabs or something like that. Not
to
king
move
crab.
Yeah.
to move yourself back and forth, effortless.
Yeah.
If you just are floating around, so you can just be big. And there is an island with crabs that like run that shit. I think that's what you're thinking of.
This feels like you guys are trying to convince me to go live with the crabs on the bottom of the floor. You're like,
No,
look,
no.
you can be big and you don't even have to fucking move. I'm like, okay. And you're like, so, are you interested?
Tommy, pressure doesn't work that way. You're good where you are.
See.
Well, I could get real skinny.
But I was gonna say, when you are hearing this podcast, I will be in the ocean.
Oh no.
So pray for me, and hopefully we have an episode next week. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.